We gotta talk silver. We have to do it. It is February 19th. It is a Tuesday. And of course, this is the video log that takes 30,000 to a million. We gotta talk silver. We have to do it. Silver had a nice bid today. The markets were almost flat, a little bit down. I'll show you the account in a second. I am not an all-time high, even though silver had a nice rally and my call options are doing all right. It wasn't enough to make up for the fact that Apple lost a couple percent, and energy fuels also lost a bunch of value as well. So overall, I was up maybe $400 since the start of the day, but about flat since the previous day. And I'll show you right now when I go into the account. So I'm sitting at 80,214. By the way, I will be adding money into this account finally, because I reached that $8,000 mark. So I'm going to be enlarging it. I've been growing this account pretty naturally for the last 6 months or so. I haven't added any cash. And if we take a look at the last 3 months performance, it's about 4,000. But for the last 6 months, I've had quite a bit of natural gain. So probably about $8,000. And that's pretty good, I think. Anyway, so here's what the positions look like today. I have everything's in the green. All my options are in the green. Here's the silver calls, $276. EXK was up $120 on its own as well. Apple down $155, so one of the big losers today. On worries about revenue. Wheat and precious metals at 52, and I made a couple purchases today, one of which returned $17 already, which is Matella. I also bought Matrix. Both of them are silver streamers basically, and Wheat and precious metals is another streamer. It's a precious metal streamer, gold and silver. My position in Wheat and precious metals is not that much more sizable. It is only $1,000, whereas Matella and Matrix are similar size now, but they returned less on the day. I bought them in the beginning of the day, so I actually have more in Matella than Wheat and precious metals. But I think these companies are well positioned to take advantage of the silver market growing in the next few months. Plus, they give out a small dividend, all three companies, which is rare for precious metals related companies, so that's why I like them. That was one of the reasons. Also, I think they have a limited downside risk. Now, unlike mining companies, which can definitely go to zero, well, these guys can too, but I think, anyway, it's a different conversation. So, let's see. Here's another big loser. It's energy fuels today, minus $140. They're trying to issue stock in order to finance whatever kind of projects they're trying to do. URG is down another $55 as well. Chemical is at 48. Let's take a look at chemical so you can see the options as well. So $48 here. The options went up $26. So that's a total gain on display of $74. So that's good. These options have returned $76 so far, and they keep expiring, so I can layer more and more options now. I do want to keep a sizable chemical position though for the future, just in case. We'll see how things develop. I may sell calls if they get close to $10, but I want to keep a little bit at least in case uranium decides to go bonkers. Okay, so those are the positions. If you're really interested, you can pause the video and look at the shares that I have in the symbol, and that should give you enough information to find the rest on your own. And my options plays as well. You can try to figure that out. Okay, now got to talk about silver, right? So what is going on with silver? So I have a chart here to help you understand what the heck's going on and why I haven't sold my calls in silver yet. And even though it's appreciated a little bit, I don't think it's the full extent of the possible appreciation. I think there's going to be a mini spike at least up for the price of silver. And the reason is because mainly because of China. Now, I know that everything's going to be fine and, the death toll isn't that big and, the virus might not be that strong, etc. But that's not the economic side of it. Obviously, it's bad when people get sick and die and everything. That's horrible. But the economic side of it is also bad, which means that people are not participating in any economic activity. Now, the main thing that I'm looking at here is that China actually happens to be the third largest producer of silver in the world, believe it or not. 95% of its silver production is a byproduct of other metals. So when they shut down mines that are not silver mines, it still affects the overall supply of silver, which is very important. Okay, so the third biggest producer of silver in the world has its supply virtually frozen for a period of time, right? So that's going to take supply off of the market. So what happens when there's less supply and equal demand? Then the price rises. All right, so either the demand is going to be equal or postponed, right? So even if you're in China, okay, even if you're in China and you want to buy some silver, you're still going to buy that silver whenever you come out of your house after everything's okay and the virus is gone. Um, but the supply might not necessarily be there. So while other economic activity might be happening behind closed doors and you might be earning money on the internet or whatever, or some services, or you work in a hospital, you're still earning money, right? But the mines are shut down. So now you have um, a higher supply, the higher demand and lower supply, or equal demand and lower supply. So that's what caused the price to go up. Now, the silver market is very small, and a little tiny interruption can cause it to shift very quickly. Normally, how the silver market plays out, let's go into the weeds a little bit. I have a chart prepared for you, okay? So normally how it plays out is like this. What is going on? I don't want to start this journey. No! Leave. Oh no, I have to do this over. Maybe I waited too long. Sorry guys, I'm going to do this on the fly. No reduce. So this is the SPY compared to SLV. And I'm going to move it over here so you can see. See if you can see this. All right, perfect. So, sorry, it's a little bright, but what normally happens is if you can see over here at 2000 and where my mouse is on 2008, this is how it's supposed to happen, right? So first in 2007, silver price getting pushed up along with everything else. And then whenever there's a disruption in the markets, what happens is that silver supply freezes, right? Or slows down because even if the silver is not purely industrial metal, other metal miners slow down production. And with that comes the slowdown of silver production as well. So now the supply gets squeezed, even though there's not a lot of demand. But as demand slowly increases again, you can see this rebound here. The demand for silver also comes back, but there's a delay, right, for mining to come back online, and so there isn't really any production while the demand stays steady or even increasing, and that's what causes this big spike here. But then eventually people get so far into the market, they overshoot, they try to guess what the price is going to be years from now, and so the speculators, and so which is great, but eventually the buy up, they incentivize enough production, and then the production comes in, and then there becomes more supply than there's demand, and that's where you see the big drop afterwards. So it's really like a spike and dive type of metal, silver. As things recover, the demand for materials becomes greater, so the production keeps going. It increases because the silver is mostly a byproduct of other metals, and it grinds lower and lower and lower and forces the price lower, even though there isn't much incentive to mine it. People just dump their extra silver on the market because they They have it as a byproduct, so they're going to get rid of it if they can sell their primary metal at high prices. They're going to keep mining. Okay, so silver can get pushed down really low, and silver miners that are exclusively mining silver, then they are in not as good of a position, right? Because their prices, the price of their metal is not dictated by the primary silver miners, so they're suffering for that, right? Now, what's happened, you can see over here in this 2016, I think, same thing more or less happens. There's a dive, and so what happened here actually is the speculators front run this event, the crash event, right? So because the market's been going down for a while, people were buying up silver reserves because they were afraid. Speculators thought there would be a silver shortage because mines were going to get shut down, but there really wasn't that much of a shortage. So what happens is, let me see if I can adjust the graph. If you see how it plays out, it's the supply comes back in, and of course the price peters out again. So now something similar could happen here. It doesn't have to be a market driven shock, right? It could be something like this virus dictating a supply interruption. So what the market cares about is that there's supply interruption, not so much what causes it. It doesn't have to be market activity. Often market activity indicates slowdown in economic activity, and eventually that means in lower silver supply. But in this case, it doesn't have to be dictated by that. All that matters. In fact, if the demand for silver stays just as strong, even a small ripple will cause big problems in such a tiny market. Silver market is very small. So imagine that there's a river, and it's a very small river, like it's 3 feet wide, right? So if you put a 1 foot divergence, you take away, you put a 1 foot barrier on the small river, then there's going to be a big difference in the overall river output. Okay, the overall water that's coming into the village or whatever, if you divert a third of it by building a 1 foot barrier, right? But if the river is very big, so let's say it's 1,000 feet, then if you divert 1 foot away of that stream, no one's really going to feel the difference. Oh no, you're getting 999 foot wide river instead of 1,000 feet wide. So it doesn't make as much of a difference. The disruption is not that felt. So other markets aren't really going to feel this disruption as much as a small market that's very dependent, like the silver market. So I think the silver is a very, very good trade right now, and that's my call. I'm sticking to it. I haven't literally called because I have silver calls. They're expiring on April, I don't know, 17th or something like that. So I don't know how long this rally can last. This might be the end of it, but I'm betting literally that it's not the end of it. I think that there's going to be more to this rally. I think you might reach well over 18. It's over 18 right now, actually, already. Let me take a look here in the markets. Currently, silver is sitting at 1830, right? So it's already at 1830. I'm looking at overnight. It's up again. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think maybe he's going to have some up and downs, but I think that the markets haven't really priced in the effect of this virus and what the supply cut is going to do to these markets. So one of the two things has to happen first. Either the speculators and the people who are trading, the future traders, figure this out first, and so they bid up the price of silver, and then eventually they'll sell it back to the people who actually need it at a higher price, like what happened in 2016. Or they'll get caught. They will get caught with their pants down, and the actual supply of the people who need it will demand future traders to start buying up silver. One of the two will happen. If the former happens, then the price of silver will peak out sooner rather than later in the coming couple months. If the latter happens, then it might take as much as 5-6 months I'm hoping that the future traders figure this out first, because my calls expire on April something. So, and but if not, the reason why I picked up a couple more silver companies is because of that fact, and I will be selling those. Okay, remember to also sell and collect some of the gains that you make in silver later this year, whenever it finally I feel like it shows signs of peaking out. So that's silver, and I think that it's a very good trade for me personally. I don't think that you should be diving into this, head first. You got to do your own due diligence and make sure it makes sense for you. This is not a free ticket for money. There are risks associated with everything you do in the markets, everything you do in life, period. But let's not get philosophical. Make sure that the trades you're making are suitable for you, and hopefully you're only trading with your own money. If you're a professional, you probably shouldn't even listen to me. But anyway, this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Not an advice, not financial advice. I'm not a professional. I'm a retail investor just like you, just been doing it for a long time. Okay, what else do I have to say about this topic? Nothing. I think I've said enough. Silver, that's the big trade right now. All right. Okay, I didn't do a video yesterday. I did one today. It's the first day of the market week, so I thought it'd be more appropriate to do one today after I've seen some action, because yesterday was a day off, so plus I was kind of tired anyway. All right, I'll probably make another one in a couple of days on Thursday, so look out for that. And I noticed that I've had a couple upticks, a few new subscribers, so I'm glad to see that people are actually subscribing and want to see the progress of this account. Make sure you share some. I like to hear about what other people do with their accounts. So share some trade ideas, or some trades, wins and losses that you've had in your accounts. I like to. The reason why I started this video log, one of the main reasons, a few reasons, but one of the main ones is to be able to share what I'm doing with my account, because I'm constantly searching YouTube and other blogs and vlogs and stuff like that, to see how I'm doing against other people, or how other people are doing with their accounts, and try to get maybe some ideas, some understanding, some tips and tricks, or something that I can put into my own style. So I like to hear from other people. So if you got a hot trade or something like that, or you had an angle on something I'm saying, or you have a strong opinion about something, or something that I'm missing in my trades, or my account management, or my portfolio structure, whatever you want to criticize, I'm all ears, and I want to hear from you. And so make sure you write to me below. I pretty much read everything. So all right, not that I have that many comments coming into my videos, but anyway, I think that's it for now. I'll see you all on Thursday. All right, hopefully you are making more money than me. Peace out.